promise I'm going to do something, I make sure that I do everything I possibly can to keep that promise, unless it's like absolutely not doable. So the experience wasn't the best, but I'm glad I did it and got my feet wet.
Yeah. So you are, as I would say, you are a woman of your word. Oh, yeah. That's you gotta respect that because you know what? It's tough, especially in the sport of bodybuilding. The conversation I have with ladies, the training, the process, and also with women. I think the one thing you have to understand how a woman's body works compared to a man. Guys, like we can build muscle a lot faster because we have natural testosterone. Women,
Mhm.
y'all don't. And switching divisions, from wellness to from figure to wellness. What was the critique from the judges originally?
You mean why I switched from figure to wellness?
Hmm.
Honestly, when I started out, there was no wellness division. I think if it was around, I would have went for wellness instead of figure. I love the figure division, and a lot of women looks beautiful competing in that division. I just personally did not feel like that was the aesthetic I wanted for myself.
Hmm. That's
That
understandable
was
because
one of the main reason.
yes, understandable because when you look at the wellness division, it fits the women who have those. As this is how I said it, the strong Afro aesthetics, bigger hips, thicker thighs, a little bit more bottom heavy that can grow the muscle.
Mm.
With figure, it's more for most women who have more of that. Well, how physique supposed to be that more athletically lean look. You have to have that nice wide shoulders, the caps. You have that how somebody say to me that upside down Dorito look. It works for those. I think it works. Like one lady told me that it works with your body type because you're
Mhm.
not very. As I saw you interview with Kaya, you're not very tall.
Me, I'm 4'11".
So you're the same height as one of my favorite bodybuilders. That's Michaela Aycock. She's 4'11", and she's just her. If you've ever seen her, her condition is crazy.
Mm. I mean, they do have like figure competitors that are not extremely tall. I believe Sid Gillian, the Olympia champion, she's not extremely tall, even though she was like the queen of figure. But for me, once I started like powerlifting, or I would say lifting heavy and taking the gym seriously, my quads grew a lot. And I kind of, that became my thing. So wellness seemed to be a better fit for me rather than trying to bring down the quads and bring up the shoulders more.
Yeah, I think everybody tries to find that one division that works for them. Sid, that is I would say the gold standard for figure. She's retired. Uh, I want to get your thoughts on this. Now, if recently Missy Trescott is moving over. She's going to make her debut in next month at the Tupelo. And you be a coach, you're a coach and a trainer yourself. Um, who do you think has the more better shot from what you've seen physique wise, like between Missy, Jessica, and Lola?
Honestly, I prefer not to make comments when it comes to things like this. I'm a novice. I'm just starting out. I literally just did my pro debut. I don't know a lot. I'm still learning, especially when it comes to athletes of that caliber. I'm observing, I'm learning, I'm a student. So I no comment.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Like I always want to get everybody's opinion thought, but
Yeah.
but
I'm
you
not
know,
a very opinionative person when it comes to
wh-
other people.
where with me, you know, I, I can't help I'm a Scorpio. We have a certain personality, if you know that I mean. So now that you're now a pro and you earn your card at the Nationals, what was that feeling? Because you got to think about it. You had to go against all these other women, take this shot. What was that feeling when they told you, you're now IFBB pro?
I knew I was going to win my pro card in that show.
Confidence, confidence.
Goal was to get the overall. That's what I went for. So for me, that moment was when they announced I won the overall.
Oh.
But believe it or not, I actually had a speech written down and I used to practice it every day for the last few weeks that I would give when they interview me after winning the overall.
Well, you know what? You want to recite the speech? You still remember it?
I don't remember it. It's been like 2 years, but I'm sure it's like written down in one of my diaries that I used to read every morning. Kind of visualize myself winning that overall, what it would feel like. And it was that and more. It was really amazing. But the high doesn't last because for goal driven people like us, like you win something, you enjoy it a little bit, and then what's next? What are we going to do next? And
Yeah.
get back on track of winning another thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about the bodybuilding process. It's a process. As you
Hmm.
train, you develop, you grow, and you want those opportunities to see how you. Because we, as an amateur, you work your way up, you hit the big time, get your pro card. But then when you become a pro, you have to kind of start back to the
Hmm.
bottom again. We have here my man, her that he we should get an interview with. My man KL the Wanderer, he says good morning. Good morning to your brother. Thank you
Good
for coming
morning.
through. And it's just amazing story about what you've been through in your life, and a lot of people would have been broken by it, but you really, how the best way to say it, you really triumphed over adversity to get to where you get here now.
Thank you.
No, ma'am, this is the quote my favorite movie Batman Begins. No ever thank me, you never have to. That's why I do this, to give y'all ladies opportunity to share your story that most people need to hear. Most people look at bodybuilding like this: you're just a bunch of big muscular freaks who just take some steroids and da. But there's more to it. The following the diet, consistency, the workout, the training, the patience, the persistence that's involved in bodybuilding. Most people every day won't be able to do this. We have here Red Samurai Ninja. He says, "Hello, Sumaiya."
Hello.
Hello. He's a new one here. So, folks, while we got her here, where we do we go jump in on social media for a bit, going jump into IG. If you're interested in following her, reach out with genuine interest. She's also a coach and trainer, somebody who wants interest in working with her. If it's just for health or fitness or whatever, let her know. But guys, and it's no offense to you, Smile, I say this because guys, no strange stuff. I know she's a pretty girl. She has a husband. I've seen the dude. He's a big dude. Be respectful. Be respectful. I don't want to hear he's a brother too. And we love our women. We fight for you. We fight to prove our love. So we're gonna jump in here in her social media for a little bit. And here it is. And here she is with one of her clients. And she just did a show. As you know, the Universe is this weekend. You have any clients competing this weekend?
No, not this weekend. We decided to have her kind of go into an improvement season
All right.
and then go next year.
And who's she and what division she's in?
Her name is Yandy. She's 45 years old, mom of three kids, healthcare, really dedicated individual. So happy that she chose me to be her coach. And we're just going to grow. That way, when we go back on stage, we can go for the pro card and then do Masters Olympia, God willing.
Oh yeah, and Master Olympia is that's coming up next month. Qualification you have to be 40 plus. She's 45, so she'll be able to do the 40 plus. And what's
Mhm.
division she's in?
She's in fit model.
I just excuse me. I sorry, no offense to her. I'm just not a fan of the division. I just but you know
This
what?
was her very first show.
I know, but I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like it's supposed to be a throwback to bikini. But some of these women now, if you look at it now, it won't be long before it looks like what bikini is now. But she's impressive. I mean, 45, three kids, and still doing what she's doing. I mean, and you as a coach in the corner. Yeah, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
So
this
how
is
long?
her first time. So she's going to get even better, you know.
Yeah. So how long you been a coach?
I have been helping women since 2018,
That's
but
cool.
I
Yeah.
recently started coaching athletes. Before that, it was more lifestyle clients, but now I'm helping athletes.
Now here she is at her debut in Europe Pro. Wow. Oh
Mhm.
wow. Now, what was your placing at the show?
I actually did not place on top 10. And that's why I'm
Uh,
currently in my health phase. And then we're going to get into like a building phase. My feedback was if I come in leaner, I would be able to place on the top 10. But my coach and I decided we don't want to just aim for top 10. Next time we get on stage, we want to just win and go to Olympia. So this is better long term to just take the time off, grow, and then come back to redeem myself.
that's smart because there's one thing you want to take the time because this is what people have told me. Bodybuilding is not a race; it's a marathon. You need the
Mhm.
time to grow, develop, to understand the process, and also, the judging feedback. A lot of competitors, take it as a gospel. Some don't as much, but it helps in your process to see those things that maybe your coach didn't see or you didn't see.
Mhm.
So when you're working out, what's your day like? What's training like for a wellness pro?
So for a long time, I was doing 3 leg days and 2 upper body days. Recently, actually starting this week, my training days got lowered. So I train 2 days on, 2 days off, and repeat.
Mhm. And it's no leg day. I think most bodybuilders don't like leg day. Yeah, if I have talked to unless you are a masochist, you have to love leg day. But for y'all wellness girls, it's important for your process because you have to develop the calves, the quads, the
Glutes.
abductors, the
Yeah.
glutes, everything to build that overall great look. Especially how right here it's just a little video from her post the show and you know it's wow. I mean, like I said again, I mean, just the development, the time it takes.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. I kind of design everything for my day, for my week around it. And it's been a long time to be able to get to this point. And when I started out in 2018, I literally was working at a gym, front desk, minimum wage. And I started working at that gym just so I have access to the gym to work out. I was living with roommates in a room somewhere. That way I can like walk. I remember I would work my way up to that from being a front desk to I became assistant manager. They sent me to different locations and I would do closing shift, some days opening shift, some days my schedule was all over the place. You'll see me like going everywhere with my meals, my gallon of water, closing the gym at 10, 11, and then walking over to a 24-hour gym. I won't even get home till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then sleep for a little bit and do it all over again. So I have been paying my homage to be able to have the schedule I have now. To I know how extremely blessed I am to be able to train every day and plan my days and things like that and coach all these amazing clients. So yeah, lifestyle, everything was meticulous and planned. And I'm a very big believer of the big term picture and God and universe, whatever you believe in, just have faith and take steps that are meticulous, look at the bigger picture, and things kind of fall into place.
Yeah, pretty much like a wash, rinse, and repeat. Just
Yep.
that's one thing about bodybuilding. You have to be consistent. You have to stay even if it's boring. It's the important part of the process to stay focused, keep your goals going, keep training, to do the things that most people wouldn't find as interesting. But that's the thing about bodybuilding. It's just a sport where not everybody can do what they do. Like as you know, recently we're dealing with heard that the great legendary Roddy Coleman is going through some medical issues. He said like this,
Mhm.
everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one lifts his heavy ass weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got here some comments from my man. Here's my man. Shout out my man Red Samurai says, "How are you? We're doing fine, brother. Thank
Yeah.
you." And he said, "Nice." He says he likes the pictures.
Mhm.
The guys they like the pictures because they like y'all ladies. And also, this is from my man here. Says Andy, don't look too bad. She don't. I mean, she look impressive. Also, he says, Yandy's yams. Hey man, come on. Yeah. And also, he
She
says
has
like
a
that. He says,
fiance too.
yeah,
So be respectful.
and he says glutes is on point, Samaya. Oh yeah, they're on point. I mean, like I said, they're like my other guy would say, they are beautiful. So, as this process of bodybuilding, what do you think as a competitor do you need for yourself to get to that next level
You mean physique wise or overall?
overall?
What do I need to get to the next level? I need more meticulous actions. Like, right, every time, The last few preps, life hasn't been easy. I have had to tackle multiple things. And so now, the next half of the year, my focus is to get my life kind of in a routine, other areas of my life more situated. That way, when I do go into prep next time around, I can execute better because the ball game is different now. I'm playing with the big dogs. And as we saw, like I was a big fish in a small pond, but now out in the ocean, I'm a tiny little fishy. So I have a lot of work to do.
Hmm.
Everything can be better. I always believe that everything
Hmm.
can be improved on.
Yeah, and I know with the situation with your side of the family, y'all not really in discussions. Y'all don't talk about it, but you do have your husband in your corner. How long are you together? And what's his name?
He's my fiance. We
Oh,
are actually not married. I was married to my abusive ex husband up until I believe just 2, 3 months ago. That's when the
ooh.
divorce was finalized. Um, Ben and I, we've been together since 2014. So it's about to be 11 years. But until that, we got engaged last year, last summer, actually, the 28th of June. So we've been engaged for 1 year. But I couldn't get married because my divorce wasn't finalized.
I mean, that's the thing. It's sad that my mother, she was my parents were together for 55 years, and it was
Mhm.
an abusive relationship because I saw her as a child. But they, even though they were still married, she was living her life here with us in North Carolina. He was up north in New Jersey with his own life. And we just saw recently of a young lady who was an IFBB pro bodybuilder who was murdered by her estranged husband. It's just, this is what I did. No man, I know sometimes y'all ladies can make us mad. Y'all can make us, you get, but then the thing is, you should be more, hey, you know what? A woman's going to be a woman. And if a relationship doesn't work out, move on. There's so much in life. Sometimes I've never been married. I had relationships, I had relations, but not relationships.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's best to be alone. If you can't find that person that you think you can settle with, and I know Benny's a good man. He supports you, he loves you. Also, you as you mentioned in your interview with KL, he is also competing as a bodybuilder. So, what division he's competing in? How long he's been doing it?
He did his very first show last year in November, and he's going to do another show this year, actually, end of August. He's currently prepping for a show.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Man. I know it's tough to be a couple. It's both. Ooh, stories I've told. Sometimes yeah. Who needs the last piece of chicken breast? Who needs the hey, calm down, cool. Chill. You know, but it's good that you two understand, and I think he's inspired by you because your path into bodybuilding.
Yeah, in a way, like I started taking gym more seriously because he was a power lifter, and he it was kind of like our date on the weekend. We would go to the gym together, we'll have a cheat meal, and then I'm the one who kind of fell in love with it, and I decided to compete. And he has been there over the years. But last year was when he I was finally like, you know what, do a show. So he did a show. Now he's more focused, and this year the plan is for him to get qualified again and then try for his pro card in masters. He's 40 plus. So that's when you're in households where two people are competing, decisions has to be made that way. Things are timed and we're not both in prep at the same time. We've never done that yet. I hear horror stories about that. So we're kind of taking turns.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories too. I got a good friend. I have two good friends. They're both IFB pros. He's a men's bodybuilder. She's a woman's, and they have a family. My man, Big Keith Williams. He's planning on competing at the Chicago Pro along with his wife
Mhm.
Tina S. Williams in a couple of weeks. And it can be tough because as you know, your body goes into this deficit. You're not eating certain things that might help you, like you lower your carbs a little bit, a little less sugar. Your brain goes, all it takes is like somebody forgot to wash a dish one day, and then y'all be street fighting. I mean, I know you're a little woman, but you can hit below the belt if you have to.
I mean, he's doing a class classic physique and I do wellness. But I think we've been through that because we've been living together since 2019. So he has been through my wellness prep in 2021, 2023. 2023 was the hardest. So by the time I did prep this time around and he did his, we kind of certain things we figured out, like we don't fight over the food because we make separate batches for each of us and we're like, okay, this is for me, this is for you, unless it's an emergency we don't touch it. And when it comes to home chores, we kind of have a system going on too. Like we have a dog, so we have a dog walker middle of the day. That way, my gym time is mine unless it's an emergency. Anything like dishwasher or like chores like that, I handle it. Since I work from home, I'm home more than him, and he's out working like 10 hours a day. But the only issue that we tend to have is as prep continues, we usually have to be in the gym twice a day, right? Because now we're doing fasted cardio. And later on, our time with each other gets cut very little. Like it becomes like, okay, hi, good morning, little pet kiss out the door. Come back from work, eat meal, maybe talk for 10 minutes, out the door to go to the gym. So it kind of becomes like we're so goal focused and so business focused that unless we actually put time on the calendar for each other, it's very easy for it to become like roommates.
Yeah. So they say like, baby, I got this time to. How about we sit and have some dinner? No, no, baby, I got this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, okay. How about 2:30 p.m. next Tuesday, and we go out for lunch? I'll say, deal. Good, cool. That's the thing. Is that you want to still be like a couple, to be together, and enjoy your time together.
Yeah.
I know quite a few competitors who have children. That's one thing you don't have to worry about because you have the dog, but dogs are a kid. You just feed him and he's okay. We have here a comment from my man KL, and he says, "What is your advice for some regular schmo wants to have a relationship with a bodybuilder, Sumaiya? What would you say for not just a guy who meets a woman like yourself and approach you and say, you know what, I don't know anything about bodybuilding, but I know something about you. I just want to say hello to you and say how you doing. What's your thoughts as a woman with muscle that's like some guys?
Are you asking what it's like for a person who does not bodybuild to date a bodybuilder?
Yeah,
That's the question.
yeah. Get your thoughts on it.
What they will be signing up for?
Yeah,
So it's going to depend on like which stages of bodybuilding that person is, right? So if it's somebody who's already a pro, who's already on prep, the amount of time and attention you're going to get from that person is going to be different versus if you're approaching a girl who is a bodybuilder but she's an amateur level. She's just starting out or she doesn't have to diet super hard, so she has more energy. Maybe you can take her on a date and things like that on her cheat meal days. Then you'll have more of like a time from her versus if she is, I don't know, 4 weeks out from a show. So I would say definitely you would need to be mindful of that, have more patience because being hangry is a thing. Being fatigued brings out a little bit more meanness and cattiness from people, regardless of their gender. And yeah, just be supportive, communicate. It doesn't always have to be like go to the gym with her, even if you're not a bodybuilder and you're dating someone. It shows that you're supporting that person. Be understanding.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's important to be supportive, especially when somebody's doing something as extreme as bodybuilding. Because bodybuilding is not it's more of a hobby in mindset. It's a very expensive hobby compared to mainstream sports where you can make a living off of it. You have a career with it. Only a very few, competitors who have the opportunity. Like one lady who I'm a fan of. I know, guys, you're gonna hate me for bringing her up because I got you because I love her. I'm a fan of her, and that is Andrea Shaw.
Oh, she's amazing.
He's so beautiful, and this is a segue to because a friend of mine, and I always want to shout Eunice. She runs a company called Bad Rap, and she's a lady like herself. She's a wife. She has a business plan. She's working hard. She was at the Olympia back in 2023, and she got me this issue of Muscle Development. Andrea on the cover. And what
Oh,
makes this so beautiful, why I love the friendships I've gathered with some of you ladies in the last few years just doing this content. Andrea
she
signed it
signed
for me.
it.
Yes.
Oh.
I love it. I hug it. I call it George. But, but there's so much to this. Like, sponsorship is very important for competitors if they can get it. Are you a sponsored athlete right now?
I'm part of like multiple affiliate programs, but not sponsored yet.
Because back in the day, I know some ladies that used to be you had sponsorship. It takes care of the cost of your
Mm.
travel for your show expenses, like when you go to motels, and for y'all ladies, it costs you more for prep doing before the show compared to the guys where all you got to wear is a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. Yeah, that's true. That's all they got. The tanning, banana hams. If you had hair, all you got to do is like, hey, shave it or just put a little mousse in and walk on stage. But for y'all ladies, y'all have to bring this presentation of muscle and femininity, especially in division like wellness, where some of y'all ladies are very well defined, very well built, but it's about that stage look.
Mm.
your hair like right now, she's a lovely lady right now. I mean, wow, but and the expense of your suits right there. That could be your rent, your car note, hair, your makeup,
Yeah.
shoes because y'all you're in the high heel divisions. I mean, I wish like any other sport, I wish there was more compensation for the athletes.
I mean, they have been increasing the payouts in big shows. I'm grateful for that. I mean,
Well,
compared to the male divisions, yes, the female divisions are a little bit less,
yeah, like I said, I
but
talk
change
about
is
this.
coming. I like to be positive. I like to look at the bright side.
Well, I like to be positive too, but as you know, I am an agent of chaos, and sometimes I have to be aware of my surroundings at all times. And I think one thing we all know, I'm gonna say like this: the men's divisions, like men's open, classic, they're the bottom bitches. They're the ones who get the money and attention. So Arnold just shoot up the men's open for next year's Olympia for $750,000. Right there,
Yeah.
that's enough to pay for the rest of more than the next 4 or 5 seasons for a bodybuilder. But I know ladies who told me that they don't do it because of the money. They do it because the passion they have for the sport, how much they love competing, how much they love to be on the stage.
Yeah, for me, I just love helping people and like leading by example and inspiring. And it's more like everything that I am and everything that I'm becoming is thanks to bodybuilding. I wasn't taught how to manage my anxiety, my depression, my mental health issues, how to make goals and take steps or any of that. Discipline, consistency, everything I think I learned from the gym because I continuously did the things that I thought were difficult, and it helped me bring up my self confidence. And now, like since New York Pro is when for the first time I'm starting to speak up more. I'm starting to show up at events and not stay at home and just like hide myself because I didn't feel safe or had anxiety. And all this is thanks to bodybuilding. So money or no money, as long as God allows me to do this until it's time for me to retire, I'm going to do this. And I believe even though there may not be as much of like a big prize money at the end of each show, there are ways to make money. When you love what you do, the money comes. Like I coach people, I do YouTube, I do a lot of like affiliate. Is it as much money as they pay? No, but I love what I do.
hmm I understand. I think there are other ways to make money, but I don't think it's something you want to do. And I know ladies who do it because it's the way to help pay for their prep and their training, everything involved with it. Because you know, it's just there's a like I said, there's a fetish to it because my crime. I am a muscle person. I think find your ladies very, very, very appealing. But doing this content, I get to learn what drives anybody to do the sport. I've talked to ladies who have done with trauma and abuse in the past themselves. Some who just were very athletic and they're maybe because of injury or something, they got into sport because they wanted to still feel that need to be an athlete and to still compete. We have here a comment from my man KL Shot Dean says, You're better off going out with the amateur George. It's about the same. It's just about the same, different attitude, but about the same, brother, no matter who. And also, he says, if you wouldn't bodybuilding, what would you think you would be doing? So, what would be in your life if you wasn't a bodybuilder?
I'm not just a bodybuilder. Let's just start off by saying that my brand is me, Sumaiya Sarwar. Now, what would I be doing? I don't know. I don't share all my secrets. I have things cooking, I have plans, and everything is coming together. So bodybuilding, I'm bodybuilding, but I'm not just bodybuilding per se. I'm a creative individual. I do other things, posing, dancing, singing, writing. I majored in creative, like I went to school wanting to become a creative writer.